I will not forgive. I will not forgive. You will forgive. In marriage, forgiveness is very paramount, it's important, it is germane. It's something that you can't do without. Ask people who have happy marriages. Ask us questions. We will tell you that forgiveness is like something you do in advance. So, welcome to the part 2 of 7 things somebody tells you about marriage. If you've not watched the first episode, you have missed out on something important. I think you should check that out. So next, I dive into number next, which is everything the Bible teaches us to do as Christians. There are things that we need in marriage. Now, that's very important. You need it in marriage. So Galatians 5:22 tells us something very interesting. I want to show us right from the scriptures. And this talks about something that every believer should exemplify. It's the life of what we represent as Christians. And so it's something that you need in your marriage. If this is absent in your life, it would be absent in your marriage. And it's something that you need. It's more like ingredients that you need to really do make your marriage work. Let me show you something from the Bible. Galatians 5:22 clearly says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. All of these things are very important in marriage. They're not things that you joke with in marriage. They're things regarding, like kindness, for example. There are days you will not feel like being kind. Maybe because you're upset with something that your spouse did to you. You're not happy with your spouse. And you're feeling like, should I? No. What the Bible teaches is that kindness is a nature, it's a fruit of the Spirit. And so when it is present in your marriage, you may not feel like it, all right, but you still got to do what you got to do because it's your nature. So you're not happy about something, but you will still be kind to your spouse, all right? So you will be patient with your spouse. Sometimes they don't have the same temperament that they do, that you have. They don't have the same temperament. So they do things maybe at a slow pace. All right, maybe your spouse is choleric and you're phlegmatic. You need a lot of patience. Yes, a lot of patience because they're not thinking on the same thinking range that you are thinking. They are thinking a bit different from you, or rather their pace to delivery could be slower. For example, a phlegmatic will ordinarily procrastinate things. All right. I'm not saying that you cannot work on yourself. That's not the point here. But I'm saying that patience is needed in marriage. You be patient, even with financial resources. Sometimes you don't have it all. Sometimes you and your spouse are doing a lot to make things work together, to get to the level of financial freedom and financial, security that you want. That requires time. You need to be patient. So all of these things that the Bible teaches you to do as Christian, that's my emphasis. There are things that you definitely need in marriage. I am telling you for free, you definitely need this character in marriage. Should we go to 1 Corinthians 13 that talks about love is patient, love is kind? These are things that you need to practice as a believer. When you start practicing them now, you'll find that in marriage, it becomes a lot more easier for you at that time because you started practicing this thing. So that is something that in anything the Bible tells you to do, to forgive people. Sometimes people struggle with forgiveness. They be like, oh, this person has hurt me so deeply. You don't know what they did to me. I can never forgive them. They become malicious towards people. And that's not what the Bible teaches. In marriage, your spouse is going to hurt you over and over again. I'm not talking about hurting you deliberately. That will happen sometimes. I'm not talking about hurting you deliberately. I'm talking about the fact that sometimes they do things that you're not happy about. They will upset you. They would offend you. But what the Bible teaches is for us to forgive readily as Christ forgave us. So forgiveness in marriage has to do with the fact that you forgive just like Christ forgave. You forgive and let it slide. Yes, you can have conversation about it, communicate about it, talk about it, but it's gone. It's something that happens over and over again. You will always have to forgive because it's not all the time your spouse will make you happy. Your happiness lies in you and not your spouse. Yes, there will be time, they just make you really happy, excited, over the moon and all of that. That happens. But then there are days they will not be that. There are days they will do things that you're not happy with, you're not pleased with, you're upset, you're offended, you are livid. There will be moments like that. But what the Bible teaches is forgiveness. So Galatians tells us that all of these things that the Spirit is supposed to form in you as a believer are certainly things that you will need in marriage. And to my last point, which I consider very, very important, I don't want you to miss out on this. This is it. Marriage. All right. Marriage is mentorship. Marriage is mentorship. Everything that you model in marriage, people are watching. I'm not saying for you to model your marriage so that people don't have anything to say about you, or there's a certain way that you want to make them think that your marriage is. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that every decision you make, every step you take, is influencing someone to either decide to get married or not to get married. So some of you probably grew up with parents that in almost where the marriage wasn't excellent, so you didn't see good examples, and you've already formed a mindset that, oh, marriage is too much of work. I can't even do that. I mean, my mother went through a lot. My father was beating her, or maybe your mother was one abusing your father. And, you just think all of those things that, oh, I didn't see a good example of marriage, so I'm not doing this thing called marriage. No. You need to know that they made their own mistakes, and that has formed a mindset in you. The same way, if you're not careful, you can form a wrong mindset in other people. Your children are the people that your mentees, all right? Your children, your mentees, your neighbors, members of your church, people in your community, your colleagues, people are watching. They are looking at your marriage as a model, as something that they can follow, an example. You know how Apostle Paul says, follow me as I follow Christ. That's how marriage is like. It's like, see, I can guarantee that if you follow these things I'm doing, your marriage will work. All right? I can guarantee. That's like saying what Paul said in terms of marriage now. That follow me. You will see that this end result is going to be excellent at the end of the day. Why? If we can follow these principles of what makes a marriage work, then it would work. So marriage is mentorship. You are mentoring people. People are looking at you. They're looking up to you. They're following your examples. So some people grew up feeling like it's not a big deal for a man to eat a woman. Why? That's what they saw growing up. That's what you probably saw growing up. Or maybe the woman was always cheating on her husband. She had multiple men in her lives, and your father probably would complain all the time. Or you didn't see a good example, but maybe now you feel that it's not a big deal. You are also being mentored. You have been mentored, and you're also going to mentor people. So if you make a wrong decision, it would affect another set of people who look up to you. And as Christians, in all honesty, our marriage is supposed to be excellent. If we can follow the principles of what make marriage work, then it would. This is about principles. I know people have different character flaws. They have different issues they are dealing with. All of that. But there are principles that do not ever fail. If you follow them duly, then you will find that the result is the same at the end of the day. It may take time. Let me give a typical example. It's like the law of sowing and reaping. If you sow something, you're going to reap it, all right? But the time that we reap differs. For someone, it's a year. Another person, what they planted, will take 2 years. For another person, 3 years. For another person, it's just 3 months. So the law is simple. When you sow, you are expecting an harvest, all right? You're expecting an harvest at that time. And it's the same thing. So if you sow, you will reap. That's just a principle. It's the same principle that applies to me. If you can follow the examples of what the Bible talks about in Galatians 5:22, for example, and have those characters developed in you, you would see that your marriage would excel. It's my greatest desire for you to have a very happy, and that's why I'm here. Honestly, I'm just here for you. I'm here to guide you, to ensure that you are able to make the right relationship choices that leads to a marriage that you can say, it's blissful, it's godly, it's beautiful, it's, all those things. It's a beautiful thing to be in a very beautiful marriage, and that's why I'm here to help you. So this is where I draw the curtain for today. I'll see you in the next episode. So it's a bye from me to you. Bye.